Yes, I know. I was muted. So how's everybody doing today? So we have a couple of special guests that are going to be coming up. Cares in the house. Marina, how we doing? Alma, Viperin, Carolina Moon, Cool Gamer. Today's been one of those days. Today has been one of those days. Okay, Alma. Thank you. I love you. I hope you're having a good day at work. So, does anybody know people in the Ohio area? Okay. And if you do, I went into Discord. Okay. And give me just a second. So, in Discord, I have a link in Discord called support. Okay. And I already add something um, called support. And if you check it out, what I'm trying to do is reach out to different organizations and create a support system. So, like, if there's somebody that can't afford therapy, there's an organization in their state that will work with them. That's what I'm trying to do. So, today I found an organization in Ohio called A Foundation of Faith. They're in Richfield, Ohio. So I posted the link in Discord. So I've had an interesting day today. Um, I'm not going to talk about everything. I just know that I had a good day today. I did something good today. So I am going to drop the link because we have a scheduled guest coming up. We got two people coming up, actually. So Sweet and Sleuthy and Marina, I have dropped the link for you guys. Hello.
Hello there.
So we had a discussion the other day about foster care and adoption.
Yes, I got all heated yesterday too in another channel that we were in. Um, I've worked a lot within the system as a CASA, so that's my experience.
Now, is that an advocate?
Yes, a court-appointed advocate for foster youth. I get assigned one case, and I'm committed to that child or them and their siblings for at least 18 months. So it's a big commitment. You can't, you don't want to let them down. But when we hear these horrific things that happen within the system and to children, and we hear abuse that happens, and we hear, it's just like you just, I think what happened for me is I want to do something.
Yep.
So I found this because a lot of times people will sit and just go, "Oh, the system is so broken," and blah, blah, blah. And yeah, we can sit and say that all day long, but it's like, then let's do something. So I did the training, which is very intense. It's like, a few months of training, and you have to pass. You have to do like multiple. They screen you very well, so it's not just some random person that just walks in and advocates for a child. So yeah, it's intense, but so rewarding. But I've heard and seen a lot of things.
Um, when I was younger, I was put in foster care um, at 12 years old.
Oh,
Yeah, um,
sorry to hear that.
it happens. It happens to some of us. And we have no control over it because we're a child.
Right.
You know, as a grown man, I have witnessed children. Hello, Daisy. I've witnessed children get taken away from a good home.
Yes.
And then I've witnessed children. Oh, she fell off. Well, hopefully everything is good.
Do you guys hear me okay?
Yes, Marina, I hear
Okay.
you. Let me drop the link again because she fell off.
Eddie, at one point I'm actually gonna have to grab my son, but he's at daycare very close by.
Okay.
Um,
So when she comes back, we'll get. Oh, here she is.
Also, I did want to tell you guys. Oh,
It
no.
fell off.
We know.
That's why I posted the link again. I'm like, she fell off. So when I was in foster care, I kind of deserved being taken away and put through the system, to be honest, because I was a troubled kid, a very troubled kid. Eventually, I smartened up, but I went through 7 different foster homes in 6 months.
Wow.
Yeah, that's how troubled of a kid I was.
You were 12 years old?
Oh, yes. And I went through 6 foster homes
Yeah,
until I got to the
imagine.
7th one.
Imagine, yeah. The case I worked with a teenager was not easy advocating for her because she didn't necessarily want my help, nor did she trust. So,
But did she eventually give in?
yes, you just have to not stop.
I think that's how my mom felt with me when she had to deal with me.
Mm, yep,
So
just don't give up.
your mother adopted you, right, Marina?
Yes, from Russia. I was actually able to the cameraman that she was in the news. She used to work for like the for CNN. So like I actually have like a transcript from like a interview I guess she did that I was able to get from my friend Michael or this cameraman that would shoot her like no, like camera wise.
That's cool.
So yeah,
That's cool.
it's pretty. It made me cry. I've been doing a bunch of research because I also have it's a very uncommon. It's called reactive attachment disorder, and you cannot get diagnosed as an adult. But like everything I'm like looking at, like I was crying. I was like, this is like me in a book. But yeah,
Mm. Isn't it amazing when we discover that like what's going on with us? And you you could identify with that. What is it? Attachment. What did you say it was, Marina?
reactive attachment
Reactive.
disorder.
What does that mean?
Okay, so I have notes.
Because I'm curious.
So, reactive attachment disorder is a rare condition where children don't form an emotional bond with their caretakers. Children who adopted may experience it. It's healthy bonds.
I
Can
wonder if it
often
stems from trauma
it's
and.
often because of it's emotional neglect and a word like ABU at
Mm-hmm.
an early age. So basically,
Mm-hmm.
if you go through if you're in the foster care system, especially early, and
Mm-hmm.
they struggle to make meaningful connections because there's a lot of time spent time in the institution orphanage where they didn't get a loving parent figure. So it's in your crucial those 2 years of life when it's like if you know anything about the Maslow's hierarchy of needs,
Mm-hmm.
the
Yes.
base is like basic needs like food, water, attention, love, and it's just a lack of that. And yeah, it's just
So it's almost like a form of survival to not want to
exactly.
emotionally attach because you're in that zone of not wanting to be hurt
You
or
got it right on the head.
abandoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's very good. That's actually better than I've. Yeah. I'm
So
like,
I was a mama's boy as a kid. I didn't have a father growing up, so I didn't know.
I
So
can see that.
I was put into a tough situation as a child. Okay, I was the oldest, so I had more responsibilities. So I wasn't able to be a child, which was very tough.
Yeah.
I had to, it's awkward to say this, but I had to be the hypothetical man of the house.
Right. I've seen that with young ones, with siblings in the system, and that's tough because you're not even built for it yet.
No, no. Megan L., you made it in. Good morning. You know what time it is? Her time? 6:30 in the morning.
Wow, wow,
Yeah,
where is she?
she's in.
I always go to a rap song. As soon as you say something, I
So she's in Australia, South Australia.
oh,
Yes,
nice.
Savannah. So you guys, if you understand, we're talking about the foster care system, and we're talking about adoption. We're talking about what it's like being in foster care. I didn't do years in the foster care system, but I know people who did.
Yeah.
Okay, I also used to know foster care parents, and to be a foster parent can be very difficult to a rebellious child. Okay, even if you care about that child, it can be very difficult. You do have some foster parents that that love being a foster parent,
Mm.
and then you have some that just do it for the money.
Which is just so crazy to me.
hey,
I just,
really quick. I don't mean to interrupt, but like you saw my message, right, Eddie? I will be right back.
Yes.
I gotta go. Okay. All right. Let's be back. Go on. Sorry, sweet Lizzie.
my husband's parents, they were foster parents for a while, and then they end up adopting their daughter. I just love hearing those stories. Um, but it's all different with every single case.
It is. Um, I reading Daisy's comments. She's like, "Yeah, Eddie, my daughter has resentment for being the oldest and dad leaving when she was 9. She had
Mm.
to help me do so many things. 2 younger brothers with ADHD. She's the most amazing woman now."
Oh,
So I
bless
grew
her.
up. Yeah, I grew up without my dad. Sorry for the noise.
It's
Trying to get the
okay.
chair comfortable. Jennifer.
Eddie,
So
we have that in common. I did too. I didn't meet my dad till like 3 years ago. Well,
don't mind me asking, but what is your age?
41.
Okay, so I'm 42. What's crazy, right? That's crazy. That's crazy. I didn't meet
It's
my dad
crazy.
until 2 years ago.
Oh, that's crazy. We got that in common. Now, I did have a stepdad, but I refer to him as my dad. But my dad, he passed away. But then, so I met my bio dad 3 years ago, and I can only call him bio dad because I just feels weird. Not didn't grow up with him.
Savannah, why are you up here talking too? Between my parents and my aunt and uncle, they took in close to 200 foster kids over the years.
Wow.
Why aren't you up here too? You should be up here talking about it too, sharing stories. I'm just trying to give somebody the platform so I can listen and they can talk. I'll share my experience, and then, Sweet and Sleuthy, I'm going to give you the platform to talk about what you do. Okay,
Okay,
if that's fine, if you can do that.
I can do that.
Okay, so um, everybody knows my story. Okay, what I've been through. So I was a very violent kid. I admit it. I had outbreaks. I used to get um, when I was a kid. If you came into my bedroom, you'd see holes all over the place. My door would be broken. Um, it would be hanging off the hinges. I had a lot of anger growing up. It's probably the reason why I became an alcoholic, to suppress the anger. Well, the anger got suppressed, but it was bottling up inside me. But prior to that, I was taken away from my mom. Me and my brother were. Um, they couldn't handle me being in foster care. So they eventually gave me back to my mom because I was too much. I'd run away every foster home I went to. But there was this one foster home I went into. Her name was Kathy. She had, what's crazy is she would take in 6 foster kids. Okay. 3 girls, 3 boys. She lived in a double wide, 3-bedroom mobile home. Okay. She would take in 6 kids. She had her older daughter, and then 6 of us troubled kids in a double wide. And it was spacious. 3 beds in each room, a shared bathroom. We got along. It was like a huge family. And then I went home. I actually, believe it or not, I actually liked being in that foster home. Okay, because I had brothers and sisters, even though they weren't blood, they were still brothers and sisters. We ate together, you know, we did everything together, went to the pool, went to school. Well, one of us didn't go to school, but the rest of us went to school to the same high school. Um, except for me, I was in middle school. We all rode the bus together. It was just a family. We always looked out for each other. Um, we were oddballs, but and then I went home. Yeah, the neighborhood I lived in wasn't pleasant, but that was my home. I didn't fit in. To be honest, yeah, it was tough. And then I moved up here 3 years later to New Hampshire. And yeah, that's my story of foster care. Other people have longer stories, that's just my story. So go ahead, Sweet and Sleuthy. Tell us what you do and why you do it, and your passion behind it.
First, I have a question. So, when you were with that family, with all the kids, and then I didn't get it. How long were you with them? With
4 months.
Oh, yeah. So that's where I was my heart, just because I could see how that would be part of you, being a kid, and uh, it's a lot. Um, every case is so different, but once kids, why I am so passionate about what I do is because every kid, every case is so different. And imagine if you were within the system and you had a person that wasn't a social worker, wasn't your caregiver, wasn't your parents, wasn't the judge, wasn't just someone that could help be your voice, someone that could write a report and say, we think Eddie needs therapy. We think, he might need a IEP at school or whatever. Just someone that could just hang out and, look after you for at least a year and a half. And that's why I do what I do, because these stories are so complex. And, we're always hearing, these social workers have like 50 to 70 cases at a time. So that's how a lot of things slip through the cracks, and kids go back to places that they shouldn't go back to, or, they don't have a voice. For example, the case that I have right now, these kids are amazing, and their story is just, it just really pulls at your heartstrings because they lost their father. I can't get into all the details, but mom broke down. Mom needed help. Mom had 4 kids. Mom couldn't keep up with it all, and she needed help. So now they have me, and reunification is always the goal, but now mom has me too. And I'm still with them, and mom can, I'm going to pick them up from school on Friday. We're going to hang out. We're going to chat, kind of bring them out. The younger one, took him a while to open up, but once you build that trust, there's just something to attending these hearings and writing, a detailed report about who the kids are as individuals that the judge gets to read. And most likely the judge weighs very heavily their decision on what we as CASA say. That's why I'm always trying to recruit people. Like, if you want to make a difference, and a lot of people will say, oh, I don't have time. That sounds like something. I'm a mom, I've got a job. You can make the time if you want to make the time, but you have to, I think, you have to you have to push through
Passion.
the sadness too, because like my last case, I had to take breaks from reading her whole case file because I would get like sick to my stomach, the things that she'd gone through. But then I'd remind myself, I want to help this person, even if I could just help one child, and they look back as grown, adults, and they think, oh, I'm so glad she was there to help me get through that time. And you know now I get emotional, because it's so empowering to know that you can unbreak the system by doing something like this, and you're not getting paid. Your goal is for the children that you're looking after. So yeah, I that's basically what I do. But it's a lot of work because you're working with everybody. You know, it's not. I have the social worker on speed dial, the therapist, the schools, the everything. But it's a nice little, just a nice way to. I just wish that every child within the system could have a CASA. um,
Now, are you on the East Coast or out? You're out west, right?
yeah, I'm West Coast, and the program that I did within our county was very, very intense. Trainings, I think, have gotten a lot more complex. Obviously, you know, 'cause I've heard stories from years and years ago, but you have to do extensive background checks and you have to take a lot of courses, you have to pass tests, you have to do multiple interviews and stuff like that. So, um, but once you do that, you're in it. And when I got a thank you card from one of the head people at this organization that I just, it was like the best thing I could have gotten in the mail all year, just being recognized, because it's it means a lot to me. I
Well,
love,
you wouldn't go through all that extensive training if it wasn't your calling.
well, some people do, and then they go, oh my gosh, I can't do this. Which is totally okay too. I mean, it's, you're not everybody's built for it, you know. But I kind of did it for my, we'll go back to mental health and grief and all that. A few years when my dad passed away, my stepdad, I was like a mess and drinking too much and mentally struggling. And I was just like, I finally took a look at myself, and I was looking at my daughter, my mom, my life, and I was like, I need to do something that is going to help me heal. And I saw this as something, it's like when you're giving like that, you you heal in a way. You feel like you have a purpose. And
Yep.
that's why I kind of fell into it. So it wasn't just about me, but like it did help me heal, you know, help me remember I'm not the only person out there in the world that's going through grief and trauma and struggles. And maybe I should go help someone else that needs me, as you know, little these kids. So that's why I do what I do.
It's like hearing about the Big Brother Big Sister program.
Similar. I don't know very a lot of details about that program. I think with this one, it's like you gotta like,
Yours, Big Brother and Big Sister, they have multiple brothers and sisters they look after. But
okay,
it's not like you immerse yourself into the family, right?
right,
It's like, say for a kid, a mom signed their son up or daughter up for a big brother or a big sister. It's just a big brother or big sister comes by, once or twice a week, gets him out of the house and spends time with him for like, a couple of hours.
yeah, that's
You, you
great.
know, yeah, they take him for ice cream or take him out to eat or take him to the water park or do something, give them something to look forward to because they don't have the father or, you know, the mother or something like that, a sibling.
Right.
So I had a god brother growing up. I still talk to him to this day. It's not very much, but we talk. He's 10 years older than me. Um, yeah,
Good person.
yes, he lives in Mississippi.
Yeah.
Um, hello, Diana. How we doing?
I like Diana. I like Diana. I can't see chat. I barely know what I'm doing on my phone, but I know Diana. I'm like, what do I do? I don't.
What do you have, an iPhone?
Yeah, I have an iPhone, and I'm scrambling today because I'm helping with a big art show this afternoon, and for my mom, and I'm like, I gotta go jump on this live. She's like, "What are you doing now?" And I'm like, "It's important. I gotta go."
Was your mom an artist?
Yeah, she's an artist. Yeah, she's got a big show tonight, and
Oh,
we're
art
I
gallery, right?
yes, and I spend a lot of time donating my time to the local artists in the area, helping them with their stuff, like their flyers and all that stuff. That's fun and beautiful in the world.
So you're an artist too.
I am in some ways. I kind of am a closet artist.
So on Discord, you probably already know that I issued a challenge to people within my Discord.
Yes, I do, and I'm already like working on it.
I
I'm like, don't worry, Eddie. My feelings won't be hurt if you don't love it, but I am trying to tap in to your aesthetic. It's fun. It's fun stuff. So yeah.
I've always learned is blood isn't always thicker than water
100% agree with you.
because you can have a brother, they won't even be the same skin complexion as you in their blood.
That's how I felt about my stepdad.
So I got a best friend. He's actually an artist, a hip hop artist. And I'm trying to get him to write me a song about mental health. So every time I go live, you hear a rap song.
Yeah, for your opening, that would be
Yes,
awesome.
yes, and that's what I'm waiting for.
I'm
So
sure he'll pull through like a hip hop like old school vibe.
yeah, not this new school stuff. No, no.
Right, because I went to that the when I told you the Snoop and Wiz and um, Warren G show, and it was just so fun to hear all the old school stuff.
Regulators, mount up.
I know that word, those words, every word to that song, and I don't
Nate,
sound like I
Nate
do.
Dogg, Nate Dogg, and Warren G.
Oh, rest in
I
peace, Nate Dogg,
yep.
Tupac, all the people.
My oldest niece is the same way. My brother adopted her when he married her mother.
Good for him. I love that. I love that. I love hearing that, especially when you're a child that goes through like grew up without a father. I did too for a long time, and it does it does affect you. Like it still affects me to this day. I think I have crazy abandonment issues, but I have to remind myself like, oh, that you're just going in that place because of that. So it's nice when there's a person that can step in and say, I'm gonna be here for you, and I'm through thick and thin, and it doesn't mean, yeah, blood is not thicker than water. So I agree.
Um, so my mom did not legally adopt my best friend. It's just that we've been friends for so long, he became part of the family. So, and if I was ever in a tough situation, he'd call me or I'd call him.
You you'd call him. He's your go-to.
Yeah, we're both each other's go to.
You gotta have that person.
So, but you got into, I wish they had that all over the United States, the CASA.
They do. Um,
You just don't hear about it.
you don't. That's why I like to talk about it because once if I think what's great about it, well, in my chapter where I am, but I can post in Discord the national organization. You can find your local organization. You know, just if I just attended like a information type, Zoom meeting to find out about it and what it took. And if someone's interested in doing it, they can check it out, and if it's not for them, that's okay too, but it's always worth it to find out, um, especially if you kind of have that in your, it's, I think you kind of have to be built for it. um, so I'll post that, and then yeah, I'm sure some areas are bigger than others, and I don't know how it is all over, but they're everywhere. um, So I'll put that in Discord, and if anyone's interested in just checking out their local, because mine's called Voices for Children, but there's the national. You're under an umbrella.
Yep.
They can check it out and just poke around and see if it's for them, and if it's not, that's okay. But I always like to say, be the change you wish to see in the world. So
Sweet Susie, Diana has a good question for you.
yeah,
She asks, how do you handle the sad stories you hear?
I cry. By myself. We also with CASA, with organization I have, we have support groups for each other. I talk. Oh yeah, that's a very important thing. You're not alone when you're a CASA. You have a supervisor. I have a supervisor that I work with all the time. If something's just, I mean, trust me, I've had moments where it's tough, and it hurts to see and hear some of the things. I can pick up the phone and call her, and we can talk through it and get it out, and then reminding myself why I'm doing it, and then just keep on.
That is good. That is good. Now, I have another question, because this thrives on mental health, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because when you get taken away from your family, even though you get adopted and you're with another family, my question is, or even in foster care and they don't want to go home, like you get some kids who don't want to go home. So how do you handle that situation with kids who don't want to go home?
You help voice to the judge in your report, to the attorneys, the judge, and you find out why, um, as best as you can, just for that to voice what they're going through and why to every person you're working with to help within the system. Now, the tough thing is, yes, and most reunification is always the the goal, but sometimes that can be hard. You're like, but then you learn as a CASA that it's tricky. It's a case by case thing.
Yeah.
Now with a lot of the teenagers, my last case, she went AWOL. I didn't know where she was for like 6 months. I was losing it, and that was hard. And I questioned to my supervisor. I'm like, okay, she's missing. She's staying in a group home. She just left. She's AWOL. We don't know where she is. How come we don't hear about those missing children? Like, shouldn't the news be talking about her? Like, because there's another aspect to those kids, because they're very vulnerable to bad people, as we can imagine. And that's how they
Yep.
get into tough things. But you just have to fight, and not fight in a bad way, just voice whatever it is that they're experiencing of why they don't want to go back home or back to the group home, which is often understandable. And help provide whatever resources that you can, because there are, if you find them, if you dig, um, whether it be with therapy or support or whatever, you just have to find every little thing and find just anything you can do, and you just don't stop. But I have to remind myself, and you can't control everything.
As I'm sitting here, I was just thinking. I put my head down just to get this thought out. When kids go missing, it's usually from a family. You don't hear on the news a child missing from a group home, a child missing from a foster home. You don't ever hear those stories.
I know. It freaks me out too.
It's this child ran away from their parents' house, or ran away from their moms, or ran away from their fathers. They don't, and that gets me, and that needs to change. Sad. Sad.
Yeah. Now that I think we're at that, and that's sad, but I still shake my head and question. I still haven't gotten the answer from everywhere I've asked. What about these kids that don't have a home or parents, and they're within the system and they run away?
They look at it as we're lost causes. That's my feeling.
I agree with you. That's why it's always good to get to them when you can, to say that you're there to help.
Hey guys, I'm back. I've been listening the whole time. Sorry.
I In Australia, you can't say if the child is from a foster family because of privacy reasons. Maybe it's the same over there. Well, see, over here is what I've noticed growing up over the years of my life span in the area I live in. I've never, every child that I've seen reported in the news that went missing or ran away and had been missing was from their family and not from anywhere else. So um, if the child was in custody of their family, they're going to say it. Okay. If the child wasn't in custody of the family, they're not going to say it. They're not even going to talk about the family. All they're going to say is missing child. From where? Where did the child go missing from? In the
Yeah, and
news.
if there's a child that's missing that's been in custody of the state, it's a different story. And that's kind of frustrating for me.
Because I live with my mother, and if I ran away from home, right, and they would say that I ran away from my mother's house, right? So I disappeared from my mother. But if I'm in a foster home, they're not going to say so and so ran away from their home because it's not their home. It's a temporary residence.
They say you went AWOL. That's how they
Yes,
put it.
they went AWOL, but you don't hear that in the news. Child
Never.
went AWOL. Never, correct.
I
Because
asked
we're
my, yeah, go ahead, sorry.
because we're lost causes. That's what it is.
See, I don't like that. I get frustrated that, and I was talking with my supervisor about that. I'm like, I I don't understand that, because what happens is when there's, like, let's say, example, pretend 15-year-old girl, and I'm close by to there's a one of the housing for the foster group home. It's in a shady area, and there are shady people that hover around that area to try and, you know, I don't know how to put it, but they're vulnerable to these bad people. So I'm saying to my supervisor, well, what can we do? Like, can we announce it? Like, what? There's nothing that we can do, and that's a part of that the whole system that I struggle with, which is why it's nice if you're able to establish in a relationship with whomever you're looking after, they have a safe person to call, like their casa. So it's just frustrating. You would
Yeah, I
have laughed
noticed.
though,
Yeah.
as sweet and sleuthy. You know, I call myself sleuthy. You would have laughed if you saw me digging all over like social media pages trying to find one of these one of my cases. It was a wall. I was all over the place.
Oh, I believe it. That's why they call you Sleuthy, because you sleuth. You're everywhere. You probably got multiple screens, and you're here, 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 here. You know.
Subtle
So,
sleuthy.
so Marina, I got a question.
Yep. Yep.
So, how old were you when you were adopted?
So I was put into the like I was put in the it was called it was called like orphanage home one or something. And I was given up right at birth. Like during this time, my people were having like can I even say that word? The that people don't like when you take the baby out of your tummy. Uh, but like before they're born pro-choice stuff. But anyway, they were doing that a lot, like illegally, especially in Russia, because I mean, people just didn't have the money. So fortunately, my biological mom, whoever she is, like didn't do that. So they did. I was put right in an orphanage, but I was 2 years old and I was adopted. And it was an American my American. I call them. It's my American family. It is my family. It's my family by all means. But
They've been there since you were two, right?
I was there. Actually, I lived there till I was 7 because my mom was the CNN correspondent for the Moscow bureau at the time. So we moved out when I was 7 back to the U.S.
Okay, but they've been your family ever since,
Yeah,
right?
since I was 2 years old. I was in the orphanage by myself, alone. That's why we think I have the RAD, like the reactive attachment disorder. Well, I know I do, but yeah, and so does my mom. My mom thinks that too.
Well, you're a blessing
Thank you.
because you're alive and you're here to share your story.
Yeah.
That is a
Uh,
blessing. I love that. I love your story. I love that you have a family that
thank you.
adopted you.
I actually, if you give me a minute, I have like like I told you, my friend. Oh, well, not. I guess he's my friend now, but Michael, the camera guy for my mom, because like they were doing a lot of. It was the fall of the Soviet Union when I was born, so it's just like it's amazing that my biological mom didn't go the other route. My mom has an incredible story because she was a reporter. So apparently in Russia in around 1989 and 1990, and this is you're not going to find this online. And my mom is not a dishonest woman. She's not going to lie about this. She was in a hospital room and this woman was like pleading for her baby basically. And so she gave the baby. She's like, "Oh, the nurse isn't here. Like the baby's just like sitting on this table. I'm going to give him to the mom." And because she was saying it in Russian, and the nurse comes in and flips out at my mom, and apparently it was because like there was a over I guess overpopulation in Russia at the time, so they were putting them on this table for like an hour, and if they were unalived at that point they were considered stillborn. So and that's how they kind of controlled their population at that point. And my mom was just like, oh. She never reported on it. This was like her own personal experience. But yeah, it was
Wow.
pretty. Yeah, I
If
was.
she, if she reported on that while she was still there, she probably wouldn't have made it out of there.
That's true. That's very true.
So it's a good thing she didn't. So yeah, I got something on my mind that I can't really talk about, but I need to share the story with somebody. So You know how when you do something and you don't know how to talk about it because you can't, but you need that one person you can confide in. You know, I need that one person after this live. So
Well, we're on Discord, so I'll definitely. We'll talk.
yeah, somebody I can talk to. So
Oh, Eddie, do you mind if I read a page, like the last page of the cameraman, what he wrote about my mom and like my family and like
yeah, that's fine.
adopting?
Go ahead,
All right.
read that
So
page.
yeah, in the spring of 19, can you guys hear me? Okay.
Yes.
Okay. In the spring of 1991, Eileen and I were doing, that's my mom, Eileen, we're doing a news report about an orphanage in Moscow. Apparently, we were the first foreign news crew ever allowed to do the story about the orphanage. Eileen always had a strong will. With her tenacious spirit and iron will, she could convince anyone to do the right thing. In this case, the right thing meant delving into the workings of Orphanage Number One in Moscow. That's what it's called. While I was photographing all the beautiful blah blah. Hold on, I'm gonna skip that. Eileen carefully observed everything. Um, around her and asked serious questions about the childcare and welfare. She asked about the effectiveness of the orphanage. Whenever she explored throughout the orphanage, a beautiful 1-year-old girl named Marina followed Eileen everywhere she went, and Marina kept on calling Eileen Mama, apparently. This delightful little girl had a radiant smile and positive spirit. I could feel her positive energy, and so could Eileen. When her while covering the story, Eileen is usually extremely tough, disciplined, and objective professional. But in this case, I could see Marina was quickly breaking through Eileen's hardened exterior. I could see the natural chemistry forming between the two. I could see Marina was quickly melting Eileen's heart. A month, 1 month later, while in the CNN office, Eileen pulled me aside and told me she had some good news. With a gleam in her eyes, she said she was going to adopt Marina. And a few months later, uh, with the exact same year, she got pregnant, and she had had complications earlier that day. So by the end, that she has now 4 daughters and then me. Oh, well, five. So five. But yeah,
You got to accept. You keep saying 4 daughters and then you. You are
y-
her daughter.
yeah, I know. For biological one, but I still consider myself biological. It's just hard to explain that to people. I don't know.
Well, the thing is, right, and I'll explain this, right? My, I have a friend.
Sorry.
I have a friend. I have a friend that was adopted. Okay, I have a friend that was adopted, and he knows he was adopted. Um, and he will never say, "I have two biological brothers and me," because they wouldn't allow him to say that. Growing up at a young age, growing up at a young age, his adopted mother and father said, "You are our child." No ifs, ands, buts about it. So he's never accepted the fact that he was adopted. When he found out that he was adopted, he was like, "No, I'm not adopted. This is my family, has been my family since I can remember."
Yeah, I was too old to like that was never gonna fly. Plus, my mom is like, she's a very good-hearted woman. She would just never hold that like away from me. She would always just let any. She doesn't like to lie, which is great. She doesn't lie, or tries not to. Um,
But she still tells you you're her daughter.
yeah. Oh yeah. Oh no. She would get so mad at me when she's still to this day if I bring it up. She's like, "You are part of this. Well, what are you even talking about?" Like I'm 100% like if anything, she did more for me than she did, or she does more for me even still today. Actually, she does so much for me. I'm actually almost getting special treatment, but back then I didn't feel like it. That I didn't feel that way. I was very, I was a demon child, honestly. Uh,
Well,
she was such a good woman though, and she still is. She still
that's what
helps me.
that's all that matters is family. Family doesn't have to be blood.
I couldn't help but start crying. Sorry, guys. Marina,
That
your
that
story is amazing.
Thank you. The guy's a good writer too, Michael, our cameraman.
Hello, Heather, Miss Arnold. Who else came in that I didn't get to shout out? Lisa, how are you doing? Um, and then my favorite saying, J Road Dogs. um, this, hearing your story is so beautiful, okay? Because, we don't hear a lot of stories, positive stories coming out of orphanages in other countries.
Thank you.
So Michelle Johnson said, Eddie, hi, I'm going to list a book if it's okay with your guest and audience. I recently read the book Primal Wound, written by author Nancy Verrier, a really good book, and she was adopted also. Okay, so I have I've always wanted to see people happy in family because there's a lot of children out there that don't have that family that they need. And I wish that there was more we can do to help these children. I wish there was more. When I heard the story of 8 passengers, I couldn't really listen to it. When people were covering it, when Brett was covering it, I couldn't really listen to it. Those children. Anybody remember the book A Child Called It? You ever heard of that book, Sweet and Sleuthy?
I've heard of that book. Yes. Um,
You ever did you ever have to read it?
yes.
Okay,
Um,
so when I heard
mhm.
about the duct tape and being tied up,
Ugh. Yeah.
that that was giving me the vibes
You guys,
from that book.
I was so upset yesterday. I had to leave. I get I that whole yes, that whole case is just really upsetting and reminded me of the same thing.
Yeah, I read that book when I was a child. I think if parents back in the 80s used to read that book and they would teach it to us in school. We're not in the 90s. I wish they did it today because then people would know what to look out for. Signs. Okay. Signs of abuse and report it when you find out about it instead of brushing it off like a lot of schools do.
I agree with you, Eddie. I think that's why that the case we were talking about from yesterday got me all riled up because it's still slipped through the cracks with all of the reports to CPS and everything. Um,
It's it's like the guy who unalived all those teenage girls, right?
there's
All
something
right.
shady with that. I got to stop talking about that one too.
Sorry, sorry, but they
I
were
get so
reported.
mad. Yeah,
Yes, it was reported to the school system by the children, and nothing was done about it.
right. Which is That's what makes my blood boil, and that's what makes me want to run out and do whatever I can that's within my control to help someone. So I'm not so angry of those stories, if that makes sense.
Do you guys hear a ding when I get notifications?
No, just you probably.
Okay. All right.
You're
Just
safe.
making
We
sure.
don't hear it.
Okay. Just making sure.
Honestly, I was like, I had my Discord window open and I was hearing stuff, and I was like, I hope this is not like, I know what you mean. I thought it was gonna go, it was like radiating over everybody, but I don't think it was.
No. I just
Marina, are you on your
go ahead.
computer? Is it better on your computer? Because on an iPhone, I really this just is like
I am
I
on, yes, I'm on this beautiful, okay, so my boyfriend, Wyatt's father, has a really nice setup with two monitors. He's a gamer. Two monitors, a computer I can see inside. I don't know what I'm looking at, but I know it's a water coolant system and fans, and it is just, and then a really expensive headset. So I love it. I love it. I love it.
I tried to get myself all set up for that today because I have all that, but I was doing the juggle of life, so I was like, you know what, my phone will do
Yeah,
next time.
I wouldn't. I personally couldn't do this setup. It's just here, and he's at work or coming back from work. So I was like, I'm going to take advantage of this.
I got to show you guys my setup. All right. I really have to. It's pretty interesting. So you guys, when I'm on camera, you see me look up, right? Always looking up. So I have two 50-inch screens. I have my little tiny laptop, which is right in front of me. And then when I look up at two 50-inch monitors. But once I move to North Carolina and I have my own office instead of my living room, um, I'm going to work on getting a desktop. And then I'm going to have, instead of this little monitor in front of me, I'm going to have my 65-inch in the middle and then the 250s on the sides. I'm going to upgrade everything. I'm going to have lights in the background and everything just to make it easier for my mental. You know what I'm saying? So I just can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait to
Oh,
go back south. South is my home.
I'll show
So
you. I'll show. Oh, sorry.
I loved having you guys up.
Oh, quickly before we go, can I show? I can actually move this little webcam thing around and show the setup. It's so awesome.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's I put something on. Hold on, hold on, hold on, hold
that looks
on.
great. I love that.
That is not it. I put a visual background on this. Nice.
she had this background. She had this background.
Yeah, it's a visual background, but I don't even use it. It didn't work. Let's see if it works now. There it
This
is.
is my favorite
So there it
background
is.
right here.
It's a computer screen,
He's serious.
screen,
He is
screen.
serious about that game.
Yeah,
Whoa,
water cooling system. I don't know what that even means. The
that's
headphones are on my
crazy.
head. Yeah, it's just pretty nice. His little vape. But yeah.
I think my husband has the same thing, like, but he doesn't use it. It's weird. He's just always on his phone all the time.
Yeah, it's nice. I love it.
So I have, hold on. I'll show you guys my little setup. Hold on. So I have this little setup.
I figured that it was going to be
That's
something along
awesome.
those lines.
Well, actually, Eddie, when you kind of look up, sometimes it makes you look like kind of official, like you're monitoring a lot of things all at once. So I kind of like it.
Oh, Eddie, I want to thank you. I do have to drop down because my his father's gonna be home soon, and he's gonna get mad at me for being on the computer while Wise downstairs. So I love you guys. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you for coming up.
All right.
Marina, I really appreciate your story. It was
Oh
really
yeah.
beautiful. You got me all crying. So
Thank you. I loved being up. I got to be here with Sleuthy, so that was awesome. And
yeah,
Eddie, obviously.
yeah,
So
Eddie's the bomb.
I'll see you guys in Brittany's cat, most likely.
Bye, Marina.
So I am glad you guys came up. I really appreciated it. I was looking forward to this story. Um, if you can, in Discord, um, go to the support on Discord. You know where that is, and put in info about the CASA.
Will do.
So, and if you know any organizations in your area that works with mental health people that can't afford because they don't have insurance or something like that, post a link. Anybody in your area. It doesn't matter what country you live in, what state you live in. If you know an organization and you're in my Discord, post it in the support link. Go to the text channels in Discord, and I have a thing called support because I'm trying to find as many locations as possible. So when I talk to somebody on the phone, I can say, hey, go here, contact these people. They will work with you. I talk mainly to men on the phone, and I try to help them as much as I can. And the more info I have, I can just go right to Discord, look it up, and say, here's a number, call it.
You're doing great work, Eddie.
I'm trying. It's taking time, but I'm trying to reach out to these men.
Just every day. You're doing. Sometimes we just want it all right there, all at once. But you're
It's
on the
difficult.
journey every day,
Yes.
and you're doing great. And you. So many people appreciate your vulnerability and openness and talking about things that they don't want to talk about. So keep doing what you're doing.
That's why I love this community. You know, if you
Thank
have any
you.
questions and you're going through something, I'm on Discord. The link is in chat. Hold on. Um, give me just a second. Somebody in chat, can they post the link to Discord? Um, I'm working on getting a new camera, better than what I have now. It's um, it's a real camera instead of a little tiny camera. Better quality. That's what I'm working on. Um, I don't know if you can see. That's my mic area. I can't
I
wait.
I love that you came up, Eddie, though, too, because it really does bring something personal, and connecting when you're not even talking with people, especially about these very important things. So I appreciate that. I would have cammed up today if I wasn't running around like a crazy person. But yeah, no, I just want to say that I love that you're camming up.
Well, you know, I look at it. If I'm going to be real, I got to be real 100%.
And you see it in your face even when you're not
Yes,
talking. So then people feel a closeness and a bond, and you know might find something that they need, and you're doing that. So I love that.
I'm still working the kinks out on Discord. Okay.
There are always kinks everywhere you go every day. We just have to kink them out. No
Yes.
matter what. Gotta kinks come up all the time. So it's never gonna be perfect, but you're doing so amazing in such a short amount of time. So I'm always here to support your channel any way I can.
I don't know why it keeps changing. All right. I'm posting this link. This link should work. I had it set up because the invite link expires in 7 days, and I'm trying to get it to where it's permanent. Never. Okay, temporary members are automatically kicked when they disconnect once roles has been assigned. Okay. All right. Use this link instead. Sorry, everybody. You have to go, anybody that wants to invite somebody, you have to go to where it says all things serious at the top and click invite people. So I apologize. Sweet and Sleuthy, thank you for coming up.
Thank you for having me. I'm gonna drop down and rush over to this art show, and until next time, thanks so
Yes.
much.
Everybody, thank you for being here. I will see you guys in Brittany's chat. Should be going live shortly. Thank you for jumping in and listening to our conversation. Love you guys. I will see you guys Sunday at 5 p.m. All things serious. Out.